All right, ready to dive deep. Today, we're exploring the mind-bending world of Neville Goddard.
Neville Goddard, a mid-20th century spiritual teacher. His ideas, they really challenge how we see reality.
Yeah, absolutely. Our source material dives into his teachings on faith and manifestation, and it's pretty radical stuff.
It is. See, Neville, he redefined faith. He didn't see it as just hoping.
Uh,
For him, faith was knowing.
Not just wishing, but like deep down knowing something will happen.
Exactly. And it's not just a concept either. Neville had techniques, for using your imagination to shape your reality.
So it's like we have this blueprint for our dream life, but we need to know the steps to make it real.
That's a great way to put it.
And-
And get this, the source material calls imagination, wait for it, the creative power of God within you.
Okay, whoa, now that's powerful. So we're not talking about, daydreaming here. We're talking about using our imagination as a force, like to actually make things happen.
Right. It's about aligning your inner world with what you want to experience in your outer world. It's like Neville said, to change your reality, you must first change your assumption.
So our assumptions, they really shape what happens to us.
They really do. It's a
Yeah.
radical idea, but think about it. How often do we just look at our lives and think, well, this is just how it is?
Oh, yeah, all the time.
But Neville, he'd say, those circumstances, they're a reflection of our past assumptions. They're not like a limit on what's possible.
Okay, so if I'm always assuming things will go wrong,
Yeah,
maybe that's why I keep running into problems.
that's definitely something to consider, right?
Mhm.
Neville believed our assumptions, even the ones we don't realize we have. They're like a lens we see the world through.
So like some of us are walking around with smudged glasses, basically.
Exactly. So that begs the question, what assumptions are you carrying around without even realizing it? It's pretty mind-blowing, right?
Yeah. So how do we even begin to change those assumptions?
Well, that's where imagination comes in. It's the key
The key to what?
to rewriting those old stories, those limiting beliefs, and
Sure.
creating new ones that align with our desires.
Okay, I think I'm starting to get this. So to change my reality, I need to start by changing how I see myself
Yeah,
and the world.
that's the essence of it. You got it. And one of the most powerful techniques Neville taught to do this, to actually change your assumptions, was something he called assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled.
Assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Okay, I am intrigued. Break that down for me. What does that even mean?
Okay, so instead of just wishing for something, Neville said you have to feel as if it's already happened.
So like, let's say I want a new job.
Okay, yeah.
I shouldn't just picture myself in the new office.
Yeah.
I should actually feel like the excitement, the satisfaction of already having the job.
You got it. It's about shifting your consciousness to align with, the reality you want to experience.
Makes sense. But it also sounds, I don't know, kind of tricky. How do you convince yourself that something is real when it isn't yet?
The source material uses a really good analogy to explain this.
Yeah.
Think of a pregnant woman.
Okay.
She doesn't doubt the baby is growing just because she can't see it.
Right. She can feel it.
Exactly. She feels the reality of it.
So it's not about pretending. It's about cultivating this deep inner knowing, like that feeling of certainty even before you see it in the physical world.
You got it. And that's where things get really interesting.
Yeah.
Because you see, Neville had some fascinating ideas about how to amplify this process
Oh.
using the power of sleep.
Wait. The power of sleep. Okay, now you have to tell me more.
Neville said, and I quote, "The state you fall asleep in is the state that will manifest in your life."
Hold on, you're telling me that if I fall asleep worrying about something, I'm actually making it more likely to happen.
That's the idea. You see, according to Neville, our subconscious mind, it's most receptive when we're asleep. So the thoughts and feelings we carry into sleep, well, they have a powerful impact on our reality.
Okay, wow. That's a little mind-blowing. So if I want to manifest something, I should be falling asleep, like feeling the joy of it already being mine.
That's a key takeaway from Neville's teachings. But, it's not always easy to just, switch off all those worries and doubts when you're trying to fall asleep. Right?
Yeah, I think a lot of us can relate to that. Our minds, they tend to race before bed, all sorts of thoughts.
Exactly. But the good news is, Neville, he offered some very practical techniques for influencing our state of mind before sleep.
Well, I don't know about you, but I'm hooked. Tell me more about these sleep techniques because I am definitely ready to start, harnessing this power.
We'll dive into that in the next part of our deep dive. Get ready, because this is where things get really practical.
Can't wait. Welcome back. Before the break, we were getting into some pretty mind-blowing stuff about using sleep to help us manifest.
It's really fascinating stuff.
Yeah, so you were going to tell us about those techniques Neville talked about, the sleep techniques.
Oh, right. He actually called sleep like the bridge to freedom.
The bridge to freedom.
Yeah, because when we sleep, our conscious mind kind of takes a back seat, and the subconscious becomes much more receptive.
So it's like that inner critic, the one that's always saying you can't do that or that's impossible. It's finally quiet.
Yeah, exactly. And I think one of the simplest but most effective things Neville recommended was consciously choosing a state to fall asleep in.
So like instead of just lying there and, letting my mind race with all the things I have to do tomorrow, I could actually decide to fall asleep feeling the joy of getting that promotion.
Precisely. Remember that quote we talked about? The state you fall asleep in is the state that will manifest in your life.
Yeah, it was a good one.
Yeah, powerful stuff. And Neville really believed this was like, a direct way to program your subconscious mind.
Okay, it makes sense, but I gotta say, it also sounds kind of hard. I mean, my mind doesn't always, cooperate when I'm trying to sleep. What do you actually do?
Well, Neville suggested a couple things. One is to use your imagination.
Okay.
To create like a really vivid scene, one that embodies your desire.
So, okay, if I wanted to, I don't know, let's say manifest a new house, I could lie there and visualize myself walking through the house, feeling like excited about owning it.
Exactly. And, really engage all your senses. Imagine, I don't know, the smell of fresh paint or the warmth of the fireplace.
So it's not just like thinking about it, it's making it a full body experience.
Right. The more real you can make it feel, the more you're really imprinting it on your subconscious mind.
That's amazing. But what if someone's not really good at visualizing? Are there other things they can do?
Oh, absolutely. Neville also suggested repeating affirmations, as you drift off to sleep.
Oh, yeah. Affirmations, like those positive statements about what you want.
Right, exactly.
Right.
But the key is to really say them with feeling, not just mechanically.
So, like, instead of just saying, I have a beautiful new house, I could say something like, I'm so grateful for the peace and joy I feel living in my dream home.
Yes. Perfect. That's a great example because it's charged with emotion.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm starting to see how this works. But what about, sometimes, what if it takes a while? What if my desire doesn't manifest right away? How do I keep that faith, especially when things aren't going the way I'd hoped?
That's such an important question. And it brings us to another key principle that Neville emphasized. Mm-hmm. Persistence,
right. Because let's face it, things don't always happen overnight.
No, they do.
And it's easy to get discouraged and start to doubt the whole process.
Neville, he actually said that doubt is it's the biggest obstacle to manifestation. He compared it to planting a seed and then, digging it up every day to see if it sprouted.
Oh, so doubt is basically undermining all the work you're doing in your subconscious mind.
Exactly. It's like sending mixed messages, so to speak. And to overcome that doubt, well, Neville said the key is to cultivate, this unwavering faith, even when you don't see those immediate results.
Okay, I get that, but that's easier said than done, right?
Oh.
How do you maintain that kind of faith when things are, when you're facing challenges?
Oh, remember that analogy we talked about, the pregnant woman?
Oh yeah.
She doesn't start, doubting the baby's growing just because she can't see it yet. She trusts the process.
So it's about shifting our perspective. Like instead of focusing on the external evidence, we need to trust that inner knowing.
You got it. And for Neville, that inner knowing, it wasn't just some blind faith, It was rooted in a deep understanding of the power of the subconscious mind.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. But I'm sure there are still times when, doubt creeps in. What did Neville suggest doing when that happens?
Well, he said, one of the best ways to counteract doubt is to focus on gratitude.
Gratitude.
Instead of, dwelling on what you haven't manifested yet, you shift your attention to all the things you're already grateful for.
That's really good advice, even outside of this, manifestation stuff. Gratitude it's a powerful emotion.
It really is. And Neville believed that cultivating gratitude is it's like sending this signal to the universe that you're ready to receive more blessings.
I love that. It's so practical and empowering. It's like we all have this incredible power within us, and he's just giving us the tools to use it.
Exactly. That's the beauty of his teachings. It's not about surrendering your power to, I don't know, to some external force or something. It's about recognizing and harnessing the creative power that we all have inside.
This is really inspiring. I feel like we've covered so much ground, but I'm also realizing that there's like so much more to explore in Neville's work.
Oh, there definitely is. And in the next part of our deep dive, well, we're going to explore one final piece of the manifestation puzzle, the art of letting go.
Letting go. Okay, now I'm really intrigued. Can't wait to hear more about that. Welcome back. We've been on this amazing journey exploring Neville Goddard and his teachings. We've talked about, how our assumptions actually shape our reality and how we can use our imagination to actually create things in our lives, and even how to use the power of sleep to manifest our desires.
And now we're getting to that final piece of the puzzle, right?
Yeah, letting go.
Letting go.
I gotta say, this is the part I struggle with the most. It's one thing to visualize and, feel all the good feelings, but how do you actually let go of that strong desire, that need to have things work out a certain way?
You're not alone. A lot of people struggle with that. And Neville understood it. He said letting go it's one of the most crucial parts of manifestation, but also one of the most, I think, misunderstood.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So help me understand this. What does letting go actually look like in real life?
It's about, releasing that tight grip we have on the outcome. It's about trusting that the universe has a plan for us.
Okay.
A plan that honestly might even be better than what we can imagine for ourselves.
So it's not about giving up on our dreams, it's more about surrendering to something bigger.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it can be really freeing, because it takes all that pressure off. We could stop trying to micromanage every little detail and just allow things to unfold naturally.
Yeah, I can see that. But that takes a lot of faith, right?
It does. But remember what we talked about earlier. For Neville, faith, it wasn't about blind belief. It was about this deep inner knowing.
Yeah.
It was about understanding, how the universe works and trusting that it's always working in our favor.
Right. Okay, that makes sense. But I'm sure there are still times when those doubts creep in, even when you think you understand it all.
Of course, doubt is natural. It's part of the process.
Right.
But instead of, trying to fight it, Neville suggested acknowledging it and then gently redirecting your focus, back to that feeling of the wish fulfilled.
Oh, so it's about catching yourself when you start spiraling into negativity and choosing to focus on something more positive.
Exactly. And one of the best ways to do that, again, is to cultivate a sense of gratitude.
Gratitude. We talked about that, before in terms of falling asleep. But how does gratitude tie into letting go?
Well, when you focus on what you're grateful for, you shift your energy from a place of lack, of I don't have this yet, to a place of abundance. And that in itself is a form of letting go.
Oh, okay.
You're letting go of that need to control, the need to force things to happen. And you're opening yourself up to receiving all the good things that are already on their way to you.
Wow. That's beautiful. So letting go is really about being present, appreciating what we have now, and trusting that the universe is working with us to bring us, even more.
Beautifully put. And when you can really, embody that feeling, that state of surrender and trust, well, amazing things start to happen.
I love that. This deep dive has been incredible. We've learned so much about Neville Goddard and his teachings. We've talked about, the power of our assumptions and assuming the feeling of our wish fulfilled, the magic of sleep, the art of letting go. It's like we've been given this whole new, toolkit for creating the lives we want.
And the best part is, this is really just the beginning. There's so much more to explore in Neville's work. It's so rich.
Well, thank you for joining us on this journey into the world of Neville Goddard. We hope you've learned some valuable things and are feeling inspired to actually start using these ideas in your own life.
Remember, the power to change your reality, it's within you. It all starts with a shift in your thinking, a willingness to believe in the unseen, and a deep trust in the power of your own imagination.
And to quote Neville himself, he said, "Dare to assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled and observe the world play its part in bringing it to pass."
Those are powerful words to live by. Yeah. So until next time, keep exploring, keep believing, and keep creating the life of your dreams.